ChatGPT has taken the world by storm, and today I want to actually fight against the machine who knows more about Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, and the tools around. And therefore, I come up with a little prompt that we are going to try out today. I want GPT to actually quiz me on certain things. And where do I have the prompt? So what we are going to do is, first of all, ask ChatGPT to assume a persona, GA4 analytics experts, quiz me on the tools and the features of this tool, give me 20 open questions, so I actually have to type something in, and give me one question at a time, and then progress the questions and make them harder and harder. Maybe start at an easy level, go higher. And if I get something right, then you can make the level harder. If I get something wrong, you can make the level a little bit lower. So that's kind of the spiel here. I'm using GTP4, and yeah, let's see what the first question is. All right, to begin with, remember, these are related to Google Analytics 4. All right, easy level. What is GA4 and how does it differ from its predecessor, Universal Analytics? So what is GA4? I would say GA4, hopefully I won't get too many typos in here. GA4 is a digital analytics solution from Google, and its main difference to its predecessor is the ability to use to track both websites and apps in one tool. Let's see what if this is deemed correct in the world of GPT. All right, correct. GA4, Google Analytics 4, is indeed a unified analytics tool that tracks both websites and mobile applications. It also provides cross-platform tracking, more advanced AI-powered insights, improved privacy features, and more user-centric model. User-centric, I would rather say event-centric model rather than session-based like Universal Analytics. Keep in mind, ChatGPT is based on a model that was trained September 2021, so back in the day there was no GA4 yet, but indeed it knows quite a bit about GA4. And the next question it asks me, what is the event concept in GA4 and how does it differ from Universal Analytics? So a lot of questions about how is it different from Universal Analytics. All right, how would I answer this? What is the event concept? The event concept is, how would I say this? The data that you can send to GA4 is event-based. Meaning each data point is supposed to be an event. Every hit type is an event. In UA, there were many different hit types, such as page view or social interaction hit. Okay, let's see if that's deemed as correct in the eyes of GPT. All right, got this one correct. In GA4, everything is considered an event, including page views, clicks, scrolls, etc. This is a change from Universal Analytics, where there were specific hit types like page view, events, and social interactions. Okay, yeah, better worded than me, definitely. All right, medium level. Can you explain what is BigQuery export in GA4 and how it can be useful for businesses? Yes, sure. So BigQuery is a data warehousing solution from Google. The BigQuery export feature allows a GA4 user to export the raw data to BigQuery. It is useful. What was the question again? Well, it is useful for businesses if they want to connect their raw data to other tools, as well as conduct analysis on that raw data without sampling. Is that correct? Let me know in the chat if I'm totally going off the rails here and you would answer this differently. But apparently ChatGPT says that I'm correct. BigQuery export in GA4 allows users to export the raw unsampled event data into Google BigQuery for more advanced and custom analysis. This can be very useful for businesses as it gives them full control over their data and allows them to gain deeper insights, platform complex queries, and join with other data sources. All right, medium level still. Explain the concept of parameters in GA events, GA4 events. How are they used and why are they important? Okay. Parameters describe, or parameters are descriptors of events. They make up the dimensions that you might want to filter your events by, or form cohorts around. I guess. I mean, it's a very convoluted description of parameters. But I'm trying to explain it in a way that there's a human around, right? So you have an event, and your event descriptors of that event would be the parameters. Maybe I should go different about this. Parameters are properties of an event. They can be used to filter data. They can be, parameters are properties of an event that can be used to filter data or cluster them within GA4. Why are they important? They are important to describe different events and hit types. All right, I don't know what else to write. Hopefully that will appease the machine. Okay, mostly correct. Let's add a bit more detail. Parameters in GA4 are additional pieces of information that can be added to events. Oh, that's a good way to put it. They provide extra context about the event, such as how many items were users' shopping cart when they made a purchase, or the specific value of a purchase. These parameters are crucial because they allow analysts to go beyond the simple event counts and understand the rich details associated with each event. Okay, well, that's correct, and it's very interesting how an event is described in this sense. And I find it very interesting on how it puts certain things, makes it clearer, definitely. All right, medium level still. What is the analysis hub in GA4 and what can you do with it? All right, the analysis hub doesn't actually exist anymore. So GA4 is wrong here. No, ChatGPT is definitely wrong here. And it's called now explorations. But the So what is the analysis hub? Yep. The analysis hub is a place, is a section or module, is a module in GA4 that allows to build custom reports, that are in a way, that are not available in the standard reports, although they are now standard reports, just called reporting section. You can build reports based on different templates and add your metrics and dimensions. Yeah, does that cover it? How would you answer this? I would be interested. All right, that's correct. The analysis hub allows you to create more complex customized reports that go beyond the default reports in GA4. You can use it to variety of techniques such as funnel analysis, path analysis, and so on. All right, we get to the hard level now. And we are only on the sixth question here. So hard level, can you explain the user ID feature in GA4 and how it helps tracking users across different devices and sessions? Yeah, I would actually consider this one a hard question as well. The user ID feature allows GA4 users to assign each hit a ID, which let's put it this way. GA4 automatically assigns an ID to re-identify the user. The user ID feature re-identify the user when he comes back to the website. It's called the client ID. The user ID feature allows to assign an explicit ID based on your own way of re-identifying the user, such as a login. Okay, when can it be useful? It's useful when a user goes from device to another device and continues the journey. If they are logged in, you would be able to re-identify the user based on the login. That's a lot of text. Okay, it's lots of writing here, so maybe we need to switch it up in a second. And okay, here's this hard level. How does GA4 handle privacy and user consent for track? Oh wow, particularly in light of regulations such as GDPR and CCPA. How does handle privacy and user consent? GA4 doesn't handle user consent. That would need to be done through a third-party consent solution. such as cookiebot. Let's see if privacy GA4 has some privacy features such as selective advertising suppression and also automatic data retention policies, or also let's say limited all right, I'm just mostly correct. Okay, it agrees with me on the handling of third-party integrations. You need to use another third party. And then GA4 is built on privacy features, including ability to turn off data collection for certain users. That's for certain users. And it also provides a way to delete data associated with specific user ID. That's correct. Moreover, GA4 is designed to handle data in a way that doesn't rely on cookies, which makes it more robust against. Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that one. GA4 really just still uses cookies quite a bit on this one. All right, we are going to an expert level now. I didn't know that there was an expert level. All right. GA4 uses an AI-powered insights feature. Wow. Can you describe how these insights are generated and how they can be useful to a business? I mean, AI is a little bit overstated, I think. Maybe that's because it's ChatGPT. It uses machine learning. GA4 uses machine learning to understand your data, patterns and trends in your data, and gives you insights based on those. And gives you insights based on those. For example, it can let you know about anomalies. Anomalies. How do you write this word? Anomaly. Yeah, anomaly. And lets you build predictive segments to target users who have a high probability of buying or churning. Let's see. That's correct. All right. GA4 uses Google advanced machine learning models to analyze data and generate insights. The AI-powered insights can surface trends, anomalies, and important changes in data that might not be early noticeable. That can also blah, blah, blah. This is probably marketing speak. All right, last question. I will cap it at 10. I think that's enough. Explain how GA4 handles attribution modeling. Oh, God. And what improvements it offers compared to Universal Analytics. Okay. Let's say GA4 can attribute a sale to a source has different attribution models to choose from based on your preference. in Universal Analytics, you were only able to choose one. GA4 has the advantage of being able to model the data, which means model the data, which means even if there is no data being tracked because of privacy reasons or other technical problems, it will be able to model the conversion and give us data, give us insight about the attribution. All right, let's just see. I could go on. Obviously, there's a lot of things that would be. All right, great job. GA4 indeed offers various attribution models, such as last click, and GA4 also uses data modeling to handle gaps in the data to regulations. All right. Okay, I think I will cap it here as it gets a lot of typing. I thought it would be easier, but I think it would be easier if we maybe start this again and this time go with a multiple choice question. But you might see right now that I really need to think through the questions and how I word certain things, which are really, really interesting. And you would be able to think through things, which gives me a better understanding, really. And I think it's really, really helpful when I think of ChatGPT as my training partner in order to understand GA4 maybe a little bit better and test my knowledge and see what level I'm actually at. So the next question would be, let me type, maybe I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to play anymore. Please give me a scoring and the 10 remaining questions. I don't know why I wrote please, but you don't want to upset the AI bots. Answered all 9, which is recommendable. Thank you. Here's the remaining 11 questions. So can you describe the functionality? Well, let's go first up here. What was the question? In GA4, how are audiences created and how does this differ from audience creation in Universal Analytics? Well, audiences are a core feature also of the exploration section now, and you would create them. You can create them in 2 places, in the admin section and also in the interface of the explorations. And you can go ahead and now put in way more of the different identifiers and parameters that you have available, and also use the machine learning features inside of the conditions that you might want to choose. And there are other cool features inside of the audience creation feature, which would be like time frames. You can define time frames. You can do, well, sequences you could do beforehand already, but just more complex things. And you can turn audiences into a trigger, which will create an event for you, audience triggers, which is pretty cool. All right, let's go with the next question. I'm just going to speed through them. Can you describe the functionality and the benefit of the debug view in GA4? Yes. In Universal Analytics, we always use the real-time reporting to see our traffic come in and debug our implementations. Now we have the debug view, which lets us, if we put our browser into a special state, see the hits coming through and see also the parameters that are attached to the events. It gives us a stream of events, which is really cool because we are able to see how Google Analytics is picking up the data and what actually got tracked. And these are in the debug view. So if they are under the debug view, they will not be counted into your Google Analytics unless you change Well, you need to add a parameter, which would be debug true, I think, on your sessions. All right. What is the funnel analysis in GA4 Analysis Hub, and how does it differ from the funnel visualization in Universal Analytics? That's actually a good question. I wouldn't say it's an expert question, but the funnel analysis inside of GA4 is far more flexible because you can create feasibly any kind of funnel that you want between different events that you have in your system, whereas the funnel visualization was entirely based on a destination goal that you would need to define in Universal Analytics, and you would only be able to do this for one goal, I think. No, you could choose different goals, but you were only tied to one goal type, which was destination goal, which made it super inflexible because you obviously had to have the URLs. Now you can do this with events, and you are able to actually put in timeframes as well. All right. How does GA4 handle ad blocking tools or browser with strictly tracking protection? Well, how would I answer this one? I would say that GA4 doesn't handle anything for us. It does modeling, so if there's no data available, you might get some data into your GA4 depending if you have consent mode running, which is something, that is debatable. How does strict tracking protections? If no Google Analytics code is firing, then you will not get data about this user. Let's put it this way. So if there's ad blocking and this also blocks GA4, then it would not get any data. GA4 wouldn't get any data. Now, do they do anything in their machine learning in the background? Might be, but how would they actually know that the user is on the website if the tracking code doesn't fire? So I would say nothing happens there. Can you explain what enhanced measurement is in GA4? Yes, so there are 4 types of measurement inside of GA4. One is the automatic measurement, which happens when you fire a page view and a lot of data or session start. These are automatic events. You have custom events. You have enhanced measurement, custom events, and you have recommended events. So recommended events are Google wants you to put in certain events with a certain naming convention. And then we have custom events, which are completely custom. You can send whatever data you want in there, which is fine. And then we also have enhanced measurement, which is a feature set that allows you to tick certain options on in the admin section of Google Analytics 4, and it will automatically pick up certain things like scrolls, outbound link clicks, and more. All right, how do custom definitions in GA4 improve data analysis and reporting? Custom definitions are, first of all, any parameter that is custom to the system that use custom setup needs to be defined as a custom definition because you want to have it as a custom dimension. And there are 2 types of custom definitions. One is custom metrics, the other is custom dimensions. Now, metrics are metrics and dimensions are ways to look at data, and these are the properties of the data. And how can they improve data analysis and reporting? Well, you can customize your installation to the business needs. You can come up with your own metrics and dimensions, and that can help you to make better decisions on your data because you're not bound to page views or whatever. So, and it can also, if you have more dimensions, could improve and expand your data set, so you will be able to gain more insights in your data as well. But they need to be set up custom on your side. Wow, there's a lot of questions. Wow, it came up with 21 questions. All right, let's just go through and see. We had the custom definition. Can you describe the function and use cases for data import in GA4? Well, yes, data import is a feature to import data from various data sources. Really, like a data import is mainly a CSV file that you would upload and give the ability to not only have data that is tracked by the tracking code, but also through other systems. So the function would be that, and the cases for data import would be, the use cases would be, for example, offline conversion tracking. When the conversion is tracked in another system that is offline, you could take that data, as long as you have kind of the session information, and can upload this to GA4 to augment your data set and have those conversions inside of GA4. Okay, what are predictive metrics in GA4, and how do they and in audience segmentation and marketing aid? I didn't see this. How do they aid audience segmentation? Yes, predictive metrics are things like churn probability or likelihood to purchase, and they would help out in audience segmentation because you can segment for users that are most probably to churn, and then hopefully you could reach them, for example, through marketing campaigns, so you can engage them back with the product so they don't churn. Vice versa, if you have a churn probability to actually buy something on your store, if you can find that out, you could take that metric, you could segment for this and use this to give people who are on the edge a special offer, for example. All right. Master level, what is a data stream in GA4 and how does it improve the data collection and analysis compared to Universal Analytics? How does it improve? Okay, a data stream is basically a way to send data into Google Analytics 4. Usually you have two data streams if you have an app running and a app running and a website, and so there would be two data streams, and you can, through the event-driven model, you can unify those inside of GA4. How does it improve data collection? Well, you have now a protocol to actually utilize both connections, so you can send from the app and the web. And the analysis compared to Universal Analytics. And analysis, how does it? Well, you can kind of segment for the streams. That would be, you don't have to change the tool. In Universal Analytics, you would have two kind of tools running in order to track both of these streams. Hope that helps. Hope that helps, I guess. That's my answer. How does the event modification feature in GA4 work, and why is it useful? Oh, event modification. Yeah, it's not particularly useful, I would say. No, I mean, event modification is if an event comes in, you can modify it and change certain properties, such as the parameters around, to rename them or add something to them. How can this be useful? Mainly when you have written an event wrong, or the event name was wrong, or the parameter is written wrong, and you have a messed up reporting maybe in the end, you want to change one property around and rename that, you can use the event modification feature, which I wouldn't recommend because there's also Google Tag Manager out there, or go ahead and change the tracking on the measurement side. That would be my opinion around it. Can you explain, or maybe somebody in the chat can let me know if there's any other use cases for event modification? I'd be interested to know. Can you explain the benefits and the limitations of GA4 setup assistant for migrating Universal Analytics to GA4? Wow, okay. I mean, these are kind of updated questions. Yeah, I would avoid asking this question. Okay, GA4 Setup Assistant is a easier way, if you don't know what you're doing, to help you guide you through the migration from Universal Analytics to GA4. And it gives you a little bit of an interface and a little bit of steps to go through. And it can set up your GA4 automatically for you. And it can also send your existing event tracking over to your new GA4 property if you have the GTag installed. What are the benefits of it? Really, if you don't know what you're doing, you can choose to use that tool and it might help you out. And if you don't want to spend time or energy on this, what are the shortcomings of it? Well, GA4 and any analytics installation should be customized to the user to the person who's actually using it and the business that is using it. And therefore, I highly recommend to set it up from scratch yourself manually, because then you will be able to identify certain conversions that you want to track, special events, make sure of the event model. The shortcomings of the GA4 setup assistant is also that it takes events and then just takes the event category action label and puts it into event parameters, which is not best practice. All right, last question, 24th question here would be, how does Google Analytics 4 use Firebase SDK for app data collection, and what benefits does it offer over the previous Google Analytics SDK? Well, I'm not a Firebase expert that I can tell you, so that would actually be the master level question here, and there's where my shortcomings are. But I would try to answer it this way: the Firebase is a suite of tools that a lot of app developers use in order to do certain things like crash analytics or user sign-in and many different real-time databases and so on. So it is used in the app tracking world, and therefore it was specifically designed with app in mind. And you were if you have already the Fire SDK running because you use one of these features, it makes it obviously way easier to also just tick a box and say, I want to also have GA4 installed for my events that I have defined. With the Google Analytics SDK, I guess you would have a completely new proprietary tool that you would need to install on your app, and therefore it is just one use case in its Google Analytics. With the Firebase SDK, you would be able to do much more than just that. I don't exactly know what would be the advantages. I guess if somebody wants to have GA4 installed on their app and they install the Firebase SDK and later they find out, oh, Firebase can also do this, this, and this, let's turn this on, like crash analytics and so on, then maybe that's a useful feature for those. Yeah, that's what I would say. All right. Oh, we are already on time here. I actually wanted to also do a little bit around GTM, but that won't allow it on the time anymore. I want to quickly look through the chat if I missed anything cool. Have you ever had to do CRM data sync for customer stage to client ID? Yeah, sure. I guess we have done this before. It also depends on what kind of CRM it is and so on. And if you have the client ID and if you have the user ID, and then sync that up and send it into the system as well. So yeah, in GA4, we haven't done this in GA4 before. The measurement protocol is kind of still a bit in its infancy on the GA4 side. So I wouldn't say that this is a viable thing. The parameters are customizable and more per event are possible. That's true. So this is about the event question. It's a good one, Karen. They can collect and define the dimensions by which the activities can be understood and grouped. Very well put. I would give you an A on this one as well. All right. Does it have a consent mode though? Doesn't it? Yeah, it doesn't. It does have a consent mode, but it's actually not a feature of GA4. This is like a measurement thing that you could add to this as well. All right. That's true. It scares you. That's a big downside of the GA4 setup system. It scares your clients if you don't check the boxes. All right. And the Firebase SDK provides more persistence of app data. Huh. That I didn't know. Thanks for pointing that out. And you would get the crown of the master level of GA4 ChatGPT as well. Let me see if we had some other comments here on our other platforms. Unfortunately, I'm not able to put them onto the chat as well. But also, when you need to make ad hoc changes, when you don't have available Firebase dev. So that's about Firebase. What is the advantage here? And Andy says this on LinkedIn. Thanks for that. All right. It sends data to a different place. That's also true, Andy says. Okay. All right. Cool. I love how people try to answer these questions on their own. I would recommend anybody to try this actually out, because it's fun to play with, and also make sure that you're not overtaken by the machine, that the machine knows more than you. And I hope this was a little bit fun of experience. I didn't quite make the fool of myself that I thought it would be. Maybe next time, maybe we can go with other questions around this. Hopefully you also learned a little bit around what it means to actually have, what it means to utilize such tools, and then also give you a little bit of insights on what my thought process, at least on my understanding of GA4 is. And I hope that also worked out as well. With that said, thank you so much everyone for joining me today on this live stream. I don't do this quite often anymore, but it's always fun to go live and try out new things. So if this was in any way helpful, I'd love to hear your comments down below as well. For now, everybody who's watching this on a Friday evening, you have a good day or a good evening and a nice weekend. For everybody who has just a day ahead of them, well, power through, and you'll be able to have a nice weekend afterwards. With that, the machines are not taking over yet, but maybe soon. So thanks everybody for sticking around and watching. I'm signing off. Till next time.